PAL. If you might have noticed, this year especially, the Quebec tuition fees have been lowered, and now $300, $325 or so a year has been added on to Quebec students to make up the national average. We're wondering, as student protests and strikes took place earlier this year, most notably in Quebec City and in Montreal, do you think these sorts of issues require protesting by students? And if so, how does the SRC help to voice these concerns and help students stay informed of these important issues such as education and tuition increases? We're going to start this time with Caitlin, followed by Dan, followed by Adam, followed by Guillaume. All right? Go ahead there, Caitlin.
How the SRC is going to be involved with this if we have, like, yeah, okay. Well, tuition increases, I'm actually not against the tuition increase. A lot of our students here at Bishop's aren't directly from Quebec, and we are all from outside, and I'm not against the tuition increase because I feel like it can actually improve the quality here at Bishop's. We do a lot to have an excellent staff and make sure that we provide the most opportunities for the students here, and that's all that it will benefit and go towards. For example, like even the staff here at Bishop's is actually paid an average much lower than other schools. So I agree with the tuition increase because I feel like we will just move towards a more positive education. If students are opposed, I feel like we should hold events possibly that educate them further into the benefit of having a tuition increase or an understanding, because knowledge is power, if you want to say something like that. But a lot of people just see it as money, but they don't see it as what that leads to and how it will benefit them through their education.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, as Caitlin just said, these tuition increases don't actually affect less than 50% of the student body at the school, and so really shouldn't be something that we consider on. But yeah, basically the purpose of the increase is to make our university and other universities in Quebec more competitive, not only on a national scale but also on an international scale, and that can only be benefited. So yeah, whether we should protest or not, I don't think so. Most of us aren't even affected by it. So it wouldn't even be worth it.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Good.
Let me just start by saying that, you know, about 35% of the students that go to Bishop's are from Quebec. So I recognize how this, I do recognize how this is an issue for a lot of students, and you know, I sympathize. Like, I pay my tuition as well, and it sucks every time you have to pay it. But I do agree with what Katie said, that in the big picture, us being able to increase our funding, we already have talked about how we're underfunded, well, under-resourced, and by having our tuition go up to par, actually it's less than par of the national average, I think that will allow us the ability to make investments that's really needed to improve every student's Bishop experience. So I support the tuition. I would definitely talk to students who feel that they're being underprivileged and hear their concerns and see what I can do to take those forward, and see what we can do in terms of assistance to students once they do get here. But in terms of the actual tuition hike themselves, I actually support it.
Peabody!
There's something that I hear that I like, some that I don't. First, something I see different, and I like it about the French mentality. If you look at the French University of Quebec versus the English one. English people see more education like an investment, where French people see it as an expense. But this is not the question there. It still touches 40% of our students, and everybody said here they are in favor of that. That's great. But the thing is, you need not to say, oh, we know what's good for you to all the students here. You need to inform the students. That's your first role. We need to inform students, and then ask them what they think about it. Maybe most students, only 40% of students are from Quebec, if I look at the Bishop's website. So that's still a good proportion, 40%. Imagine 40% of you disappear today. Bishop's is going bankrupt. Yeah, 10 seconds, okay. So I just say 40% of students, that's a big difference. So I say we need to inform students about those ways and tell them, hey, look, what do you want to do? Do you want us to talk more about it? We need to inform people.
Thank you, Guillaume. All right. Next up, continuing this bandwagon, we've got social questions. We're going to start this round. Guillaume, followed by Adam, followed by Emily. We'll do the reverse for a second. Our first events question and social based. A continuing challenge with hosting events on campus is getting students involved.
Yeah!
And events that can often be more attractive to certain groups depending on the networking that is put into place by the SRC. How would you actively work to increase the number of students at events, especially first year freshers and second years, and networking to target to get them involved? Guillaume, Adam, followed by Emily.
That's a really important question here, because I think that communication is one of the major problems with the SRC. And that's one of the reasons, and student involvement too, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. That's horrible to see position for which there's only one candidate. So that the problem there is essentially a communication problem. If you want to get more events that people like, and get people involved, there needs to be good communication. If you look at the website of the SRC, it's all outdated. There's Facebook, but even there, not everything's on Facebook. We need to increase communication. Maybe use a bit more SurveyMonkey to see what students get. Bishop's email might be good, but most people don't read those emails. And when you receive 1,000 million fucking emails per day, yeah, sorry guys. When you receive 1,000 emails per day, that's not the way. Posters, whatever, make their phone, but we need to increase communication. That's the big thing about the SRC. Increase communication and will work, will make everything way better.
Thank you, Guillaume. Great, thank you. Next up, Adam, you want to go ahead?
I agree that communication is something that we always need to work on. A few steps that have been taken over the past year is the creation of YouTube videos to promote different events. I'm not sure if you saw DJ AP and Doug promoting some events this year, but that's one thing that I think could help in the future. And I also just think one thing that we've realized over the past year is that what might not always work is small events like 2 or 3 times a week. What we sort of realized this year is that to try and put as much as we can into less events but making them better and using our resources more wisely that way, it really has an effect. I don't know if any of you guys went out to Winterfest this year, but it was a raging success, and I think we learned quite a few things that year. So I'd like to continue that in the years to come. Thanks.
Because the bond between SRC and Res Life is not fully there as much as it could be. I think if we strengthen the bond and the communication, the amount of first years that would know the events that were happening and what was going on would increase. I think that bond is very important. With the upper years, I think Facebook is a great tool, but it's not the only tool. As Doug and Adam have done, this YouTube campaign for all the events is a great thing, and it's getting everyone talking no matter what they're doing, on their bed with a snowboard, rolling down the halls on a skateboard. It's a great way to communicate, and I think the best way to communicate with students is getting original.
activities has to do with clubs. So, to begin with, there's a lot of paperwork involved with clubs for the SRC. There's a ton of clubs on campus. People are often usually involved in 4 or 5 every year they're here. How can the SRC facilitate a better process for clubs to receive support, both through financial and personal assistance, that encourage the greater club involvement on campus, as well as being able to communicate all those number of clubs to the student population to get involved with? A bit of a tricky question. We'll start with Emily, followed by Adam, and then Guillaume.
I myself, I'm involved in 2 clubs, a social and a charity, so dance club and Chinorama. And as being a coordinator for dance club for the past 2-3 years, I understand the new club heads understanding what's going on, and it's personally taking me 2 years to understand how the SRC works with clubs. I think the important thing is maybe more meetings with club heads and the VP Social itself meeting with clubs for an understanding of what's going on and what they can do to thrive. Budget reports and club reports are very, very important for financial funding, and many clubs are not doing this properly. I think there really needs to be a focus on these reports so that they're done better and that each club facilitates the right resources. And I also think the rules about probation need to be there more often.
Yeah, you know, clubs are a huge part of the Bishop experience for a lot of our students, and that's why I made clubs a pillar of my campaign. And what I think that we need to do is look at the rules that are governing clubs, update those. It hasn't been updated in a while, and I know that Doug has started working on that now. I'd like to continue that work, make sure that those rules are updated, condense those rules, clarify them, and then effectively communicate those rules so that the club heads know what's going on. Another thing that Emily touched on is that some clubs aren't actually doing what they're supposed to and submitting club reports and submitting budgets. So what I'd like to do is say to all of the clubs, you know, if you're going to play by the rules and if you're going to actually do what is necessary to get funding, you're an active club and you're contributing to student life. For any of those clubs, I'd like to up their funding. For those clubs that aren't going to be providing club reports, that aren't going to be doing budgeting, or that aren't active, I think that their funding should drop down to 0 for at least a year until they can prove that they're going to do the same.